when we initially turned up at Crowley Hall, I was excited. It was a ghost hunt with that little extra added something, what with the film crew joining us to film the documentary. It went as well as I could have hoped to begin with. We had our walk around with Steve, the owner. We went into the room where the bones were found. Annabelle done her readings. We went off and done our separate little mini walk arounds. I took Annabelle and Catherine along to the children's ward where we came up with some sounds. I was excited by this. Probably not as much activity at that time as I'd hoped for. So we started this seance. Now, normally Anne would offer us protection. But this time I requested that she didn't. Mainly because on previous investigations where we've had spiritual protection given to us by Anne, the seances haven't yielded the results I really want. And it started off fine. Started off well enough. We got some sounds, tables started to move. But still, and I probably think this is because the cameras were around, there was still something more I wanted. So I decided to start with some glass divination. And then the seance got a little bit out of hand. It seemed Dr. Bernard Lees wasn't happy with us being there. Anne was starting to go into I wouldn't say a trance-like state, but obviously whatever was happening was affecting her. Other people were starting to feel colder and starting to feel a bit uneasy. I myself was getting more pumped up and into it. But it seems Dr. Lees was more than happy to hurl insults and threats at us. And I guess I took it a bit personally, so I started to hurl insults and become a little bit antagonistical back. Anne asked me not to, but I carried on. And it ended with the door behind me slamming shut and making me jump out of my skin. It was then we split up into two different groups. We both took different parts of the building to investigate, far enough apart so we didn't bump into each other or cross paths. We done our normal routine. We walked around, called out, stopped to listen for sounds. I think it was my half that come out with some of the better footage. We actually had a door slam on us as we entered a room. It was when we went back to the rec area that we saw the footage of what looks like a spirit person around the cell area. I headed back towards that area. Nothing was there. I headed into the cell just to see if there's anything in there. Nothing. I turned around to tell the other members of the group so. All of a sudden, the door slammed shut. I was thrown to the ground. I felt pressure holding me down. It felt like I was being punched in the stomach. I also felt pain around my face area. And obviously, they sat me down, and that's where I just totally lost it and realised we needed to get out of here. So we did. I couldn't sleep for a few nights afterwards. I kept having nightmares about what had happened that night. But me being me, I guess I thought there was still some unfinished business. I'd never come across anything like that before, what happened that night. So I decided that we should go back. The thought terrified me. I didn't want to, but if I didn't, I would have felt beaten. When we returned to Crowley Hall, I didn't know what to expect. Myself and the team members that were there before weren't happy that we were there again. But I think we all agreed that we needed to find out what happened that first night. I was nervous. I think you can see on camera that the team were very, very scared about being back there. And to be heading straight to the main point was what was scaring us the most. Annabelle was very, very uneasy. I was very uneasy. Catherine was not her normal staid self, you could tell. She'd been having strange readings on her EMF reader, and it seemed energy was sort of all built up into this one room at that time, and that was all coming at us in that room. And about halfway through, Catherine's EMF reader just went off the scale. Darren heard some noises. I was hearing noises, and it was that point Darren claimed he heard something from the room behind him, and as he turned, and as we all turned to that room, Annabelle let out this piercing cry. We all decided to go back into the rec room to discuss what we were going to do next, which probably just entailed us leaving. We decided there and then we were just going to leave. It was no good. We come back for all the wrong reasons. We should just leave this one and just go. So I went to the medical room to get Annabelle so we could all get the hell out of there, and she'd gone. No one had seen her. No one knew where she was. I kind of lost it again. Not as bad as first time, but once again, second time at this place, second time I'd lost control of things going on around me. We had a call back from one of the team members we left in the rec room just in case she'd gone back there, telling us they'd seen her on a security camera. They told us that she was in the operating theatre. I rushed in to go see what was up, see if she was hurt, to pick her up. I don't know what I was going to do. And all of a sudden, Janella, who was with me, let out a piercing scream. It seemed she'd seen a figure into the window over one side of the room, and we just got our stuff and left, and never to go back to that place again. It's affected me more than I would have thought. I don't know if I'm going to go ghost hunting for a while, that's for sure. I still haven't made up my mind whether I've packed it in completely. I, once again, don't know what happened that night. I don't know what happened the first night. Annabelle, in some ways, hasn't got over it. Catherine, for the first time in my time of knowing her, was at a loss for words. And I know that place is probably hell on earth.